Right, so I'm turning the, I'm using the scale. Has to set it for grams. Zero it out. And flour. Why didn't I have the flour out? Alright, I'm using the larger recipe, so this is 714 grams of flour.
Which is how many cups?
Well, it's on her recipe. I don't have to worry about that. She can put it whatever amount she wants. This is the larger of the version, so I'm using 725 grams of flour. Yeast. It's about, for this recipe, I just use about a teaspoon. Right? Salt is 13 grams for this recipe. So zero it out. And there's 13 grams of salt. Now what I normally do is I'll mix this up to get everything together. And then we pour in the water. And this recipe takes 550 grams of water, milliliters of water. And it's cold water. You could use warm in a different recipe, but so there is 560 grams of water, or milliliters. And then you just mix it up. Now sometimes I'll throw in a little sugar. This time I'm putting in a little sugar because I want this to go a little quicker. So I put in a couple of teaspoons of sugar. You don't have to. And then you just mix it up. Come in closer so you can watch the mixing. So this is going to be quite a shaggy dough. But that's all you need to do is mix it. There's no kneading involved. And then once you're finished mixing and getting it all accumulated together, so that there's no dry bits left, then you just cover it and leave it for 12 to 18 to 24 hours. You can leave it longer if you want, and we'll show you what it looks like once it is finished fermenting. But you can see that's still a little bit of dryness, and you want to work that until it gets all blended together and there's no really super dry bits. And you can see pretty much come together, and so there. Now you can leave that, and I just cover it with a lid. And so this is the way it looks once it's fermented. So now we're going to put this out onto a floured surface. I'm going to put a lot of flour down because it's quite
juicy.
Quite juicy. Scraper. Scrape it out. Okay. And as you flour the top of it a little bit too. Okay, this one I'm cutting in half. It's a large. All right, and then what I do is just you want to fold it over a little bit. All right, fold it a couple of times, and then just form it into a ball by going underneath it and rounding it off like that to get it sort of tight on the top. All right, and then we're going to put it onto these silpats. And what I normally do is spray them with a little oil first. All right, just so that they're easier to slide the dough off once you get it on. So finish rounding it and just put it on here like that. Same thing with this other one. Fold it over a couple of times. Round it off. Ball. Put it over onto there. And then what you're going to do is just cover this with a plastic wrap. And the plastic wrap is a little decrepit at this time. Just do one of them. Just cover it up with a little plastic wrap, and then let it sit for about 45 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, and then you're going to cook it in a preheated oven at 450. All right, that's it. So the next step is the oven. We turn it on and bake 450, and we're preheating the oven now at 450. You can go as high as 475 or 500, as hot as your oven goes, but I usually use 450, and then the baking time is 30 to 35 minutes, but we're preheating the oven now. And I always use cast iron pots. In this case I'm using 2, and they get into the oven while it's preheating so that they get warmed up. Make sure whatever, you can use ceramic pots, whatever. There you go. Okay, now that it's reached 450, we have to take the bread from the pan, or from the pans where they've risen for about 30 minutes to 40 minutes, and put them into the pots, and we'll do that right now. The pots are in warming up. Take one out at a time. Now, usually I will put a little flour in the bottom, which I didn't have ready. Sorry. Just to prevent it from sticking. Alright, now this is the trickiest part that I find, but that's why I put them on these silpats. So you just let it slide off the silpat, which I've oiled before I put the dough on, and you just let it slide in and put the lid back on. And back in. We'll do one more because I've got 2 pots here. Here's the second one. Flour in the bottom. Take the plastic off. Take the silpat and slide it in slowly. There you go. Lid back on and into the oven. Now it's at 450. I'm going to set the timer for 30 minutes and we'll be back. Okay, we're getting close. 2 minutes to go until we check the status of the cooking of the bread. Okay, the timer's clicking down. That's 30 minutes, so we're gonna check them to see how they're done on top. So, timer off. I'm ready. We're just gonna check now to see if they're done. There you go. So we're gonna put that back in now for about 2-3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes to make sure it gets browned. Take out the other one, do the same thing.
Beauty.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We're gonna put that back in. We're gonna set the timer for another 5 minutes. And with the lids off, we'll just let it brown on top and then we'll be done.
Yeah.
All right, so it's been almost 5 minutes, so I'm gonna stop this now. Cancel. And we're gonna take the bread out and let's take a look and see what it looks like. So we've got nicely browned. Look at that. Beautiful. One, and the second one. All right, so that's the way it turned out. Excellent. And another one, and then you just drop them out because you got some flour in the bottom. Then it should be coming out easily. All right, we'll show you what it looks like out on the out on the rack. And there they are out on the racks. They came out very easily because of the flour in the bottom. And there you go.
Yeah, from our side, yeah.